Flag on the play if you're not subscribed to VonAllen Sports. But once you are, we'll make it up to your team in the fourth quarter. You're watching VonAllen Sports, real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now and join the empire. VonAllen Sports, let's go.
VonAllen Sports. VonAllen Sports.
Okay, so how you guys doing? Let's see here. Well, I'm trying to think of a good way of saying how interesting week 15 was. Okay, so not very. It's well, it's interesting in some standpoint if you like brutality and carnage and death and destruction and idiocy and things that your brain and your mind just can't fathom and can't wrap their brain around it. It's just, basically it's kind of like watching the news every day. I'll tell you what I did. I don't know if what you guys did after watching the Patriots and the Bucks, but I went into the rest of the evening on Sunday not wanting to look at anything football related. What does that mean? That means I thought that it would be more comforting to watch psychological profiles, videos of murderers. That for some reason, I don't know how I ended up down that rabbit hole on YouTube. I just did somehow. But that seemed appropriate for what we saw. Yeah, I don't do that very often. I don't watch stuff like that. It's generally, but yeah, I did. Milena walks into the living room at 3, 4 in the morning. What you doing? Oh, I'm just watching a psychological profile of a guy who just killed his whole family. Yes, because, I'm trying to study the effects of CTE. Does Todd Bowles have CTE? Probably. Or maybe he was just born stupid. I'm not sure. Okay? Todd Bowles is one of those type of guys. Now, I was talking to Milena and Roman about this the other day. Todd Bowles is one of those men who are really good at one thing. So have you ever met that complete dumbass person that you're like surprised that they even pay their bills or they can walk and chew gum at the same time without either biting their tongue, choking, or tripping? That's kind of those type of people, right? But then you find out that they are the greatest at Hungry Hungry Hippo or Jenga. And you're just blown away, right? You're just blown away. You're just like, holy crap, this guy is amazing at this. But everything else, he's the biggest dumb shit that I've ever seen in my life. Well, for Todd Bowles, defensive coordinating is his Hungry Hungry Hippo. Okay? But everything else, he sucks. All right? But you know what? I've expected this kind of ineptitude from Todd Bowles. I've expected this kind of thing from the Bucks. All right. I've used to be surprised. I'm not surprised anymore. The reason I didn't go ahead and do a post game on Sunday night is because I was so disgusted and so mad. All it would have been was me bitching, complaining, throwing a fit, going nuts. For what? Exactly. For what? For the same thing that they've been doing all year. So I just needed to step back and I thought waiting until today would be fine. But what I really have to say regarding Sunday was actually, it's more, interestingly enough, it's more Patriots related. Now, I didn't think I'd ever have a rant regarding Bill Belichick so much, but there is something I'd like to get off my chest. But let me get these super chats real quick. John Thomas Chavez sends a $2 super chat. He says, so Bill threw Mac under the bus. Also, take an E. Yeah. That's called, the first part is called hypocrisy. The second part is called, either arrogance or idiocy. Okay. Go ahead, Jared, since the $2 super chat says, how about them Bengals? Let's go. The Bengals are excellent. The Bengals are excellent. They're an excellent team. And what happened with them against the Bucks in the first half, that was the Bucks doing what Tom wanted to do. They completely went back to the old way of doing things when it worked. The play action, the mixing it up, going deep, then switching it back up. They were doing everything correctly. And for some explicable reason, at halftime, Todd Bowles decided, for whatever reason, I don't feel like we're playing like the Bucks. I don't like all this scoring. I don't like all this great defense, okay? This isn't going to work for us. I need you to guys start playing again like you were before, okay? I'm trying to make this team look as bad as possible, okay? I'm trying to make sure that Tom Brady leaves so I can have complete control and completely destroy the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization once and for all and collect my free money, okay? Until I end up fired, and then I'm going to be a defensive coordinator again somewhere, and then I'm going to do a good job, and then in 3 or 4 years, some other stupid-ass piece of shit organization is going to hire my stupid ass, and I'm going to steal another 10 to 15 million from them, okay? And let the cycle continue. And that's Todd Bowles' basic plan for the next 20 years, probably. Tampon Bay, yeah. Now, regarding Jared's tweet there, or tweet, my God. Super chat regarding his Bengals. They're one of the best teams in the league right now, and it has nothing to do with record. Don't talk to me about record. I disagree with Bill Parcells about a lot of things, most things, but when he says you are what your record says you are is absolute nonsense. It's complete and utter nonsense. I think when he said that, I think he was the coach of the Cowboys when he said that, if I remember correctly. It was around 2006 maybe. He said that he was basically trying to say that people had the expectations, and he was trying to be humble and say, we're not that good and all that crap. But it logically doesn't make any sense. The problem with this is that since the great Bill Parcells said you are what your record says you are, a lot of Patriots fans have taken that and ran with it. And I've seen other commentators and analysts and people on TV use that quote. It's not true. It's not really true unless the record is completely lopsided. But if you're like a 4-6 team or a 6-4 team, you may be better or worse than some other team. It could depend on a number of factors. It could be you're just getting off to a slow start, or you're the schedule is not in your favor. Maybe you've got several road games across the country, or there could be a million things that could explain it. But yet the team still is playing well. Maybe you lost a few games. A good example of this is the Detroit Lions. So if you guys go back to the shows of the beginning of the season, I kept saying, I know the Lions are losing games. But I like what they're doing. Okay? I could see a development. I could see something coming down the pipeline. And they were fighting. The Lions players were fighting. They were playing hard. They were together. They were very team oriented. Their coach was all like hardcore and was all into it. They played hard for him. And I could see that there was something building there, but their record didn't reflect it. They just kept losing. No matter what they did, they always found a way to lose the game. But I had predicted that next year is their year. Next year is their year to really show everybody that they can play. I didn't know that they were going to do so well during this season. But that's a good example. It's kind of like I saw in them that there's something there, but their record doesn't reflect it. And now they've actually made the record reflect it. They've won, 6 out of the last 7? Something like that. So, I mean, imagine if the Patriots or the Bucks won 6 out of their last 7. What would everybody be saying right now if the Bucks or the Patriots won 6 out of the last 7? We'd be talking about how great they are. Hell, we're talking about the Bengals. What if the Bengals were on a run like that? Well, it's just that's what people would be doing. If the Chiefs were on a run like that, we'd be saying they're Super Bowl bound, whatever, right? So it's an impressive thing. It's impressive for the Lions, okay? Depending on how garbage the NFC wildcard teams are, and now that we've got the participation trophy seed, 7th seed in the playoffs, we could end up with 2 garbage teams, or maybe some team sneaks in there that deserves it, like the Lions, because they're playing well and they're playing hard. So I'd rather see the Lions in the playoffs than the Bucks. I don't think anybody from the NFC South deserves to be in it. I think the NFC South should be canceled for the year. I'm not into cancel culture and all that, but if it's still alive and well, I would like to put in an order to the cancel culture people. I don't know who this goes to. Does it go to Antifa or I don't know? Whoever you send it to, I would like to place an order for you to cancel the NFC South. So I don't want any team in the NFC South to ever even sniff the playoffs this year. And it's an embarrassment to football, and it's an embarrassment to my cat. It's an embarrassment to my paintbrush, my toothbrush, and it's an embarrassment to all the suspension bridges and donkeys that cross them. Yeah. There was a super chat before the live stream started.
Yeah.
Was it a $5 one?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I'm just gonna because it didn't come up in the software version. I'm going to have to screenshot it. So, no problem. In fact, it probably looks better anyway. Elvo Courage, when the show started, he sent a $5 super chat. He said, "My team may have lost humiliatingly, but I won huge in the quarterback tournament." That's right, you did. You won. But you won by one completion. One completion. I guess you guys want to know who won and lost their games if you don't know already. So you're going to have to wait just a second. You're going to have to listen to me bitch and complain for a few minutes before I give you that kind of information. Okay? So it's part of the deal here. If I'm suffering, you've got to suffer too. All right. Let me tell you guys something. I love football, okay? It's my favorite sport on this earth. It's been my favorite sport, okay? I've always loved it. I don't mind losing a game, okay? It sucks. Losing sucks. It doesn't mean that I like it. It doesn't mean that I can just go off and be like, okay, it's, whatever, it's fine. No, I'm going to be pissed, but I can live with it. I can move on and get back and then get ready, I had this mentality when I was a kid, had it in high school, had it when I played hockey as an adult, had it my whole life, okay? I don't like losing. I don't like losing board games, okay? No one likes to lose. But what will piss me off, what will make me an insufferable asshole is losing because of stupidity, because of ignorance, because of sloppiness, because of laziness, and flat out just complete moronic, idiotic decisions. All right? That I have a problem with. The best example I can give you for what I'm referring to as far as how I feel about things is that I can rewatch the 07 Super Bowl, okay? I can rewatch the 18-1 Patriots lose to the Giants. I can rewatch that Super Bowl, analyze it, look for things that could have changed. I could do all that without feeling angry. I still get that weird pit in my stomach when it gets into the fourth quarter and I know it's going to happen. And even though I know it's going to happen, I'm like thinking, could there something have been changed? You still get that. You're always going to get that. But I can watch it and not get actual angry, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Get all bitter, okay? I can do the same thing with the 2011 Super Bowl against the Giants. How come I can do that? Because those Giants teams beat us and they won. And they were just playing better football. They had better game plans. They did just enough. Whether it was a lot, whether what your opinion is that they won by, they did a lot or a little, it doesn't matter. They did enough. Okay? Like the helmet catch. Okay, the helmet catch, you got lucky. Okay, well, we didn't have to give up Plaxico Burress in the fucking end zone wide open. Okay? Plaxico Burress had so much time in that end zone, he could have balanced his checkbook. He could have made reservations to go to Tahiti. All right? He could have eaten an entire fucking birthday cake. No, I'm sorry. He could have baked an entire fucking birthday cake and then ate it before the defense figured out that Plaxico Burress was in the end zone. So don't tell me about the helmet catch. All right? That's what I'm referring to. And the team that was putting up 30 on everybody, 30 or more on everybody every week, couldn't put up, okay? Couldn't put up more than 14 on the Giants. When you put up how many? 30-something? A few weeks before on the same team. You did that to the same team. And let's not forget that Giants team also put up a lot of points on Belichick's vaunted defense. All right? So I can take that loss like a man. All right? That's fine. No, they beat us. 2011, the Giants were the better team. 2011 was different. 2011, we were not the better team that day. We weren't even the better team going into that game. The Giants were better. And the fact that we were in there is because of one Tom Brady. That's it. No Tom Brady, that team doesn't make the playoffs that year. Okay, that defense was absolutely atrocious. Oh, but Aaron, the points for and the points against. No. If you watch that year, that 2011, that sucked. That defense sucked. They put Julian Edelman's ass out there on defensive back. Okay? That's how bad things were. I never expected us to get to the Super Bowl that year. I could not believe that we beat the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. I couldn't. It was shocking. I was like, I didn't expect it. That was a shitty game, by the way. That was a terrible game. Still won. So going to that Giants game, I just didn't feel comfortable with it. But that brings us to 2017. 2017. That one. That's the one that I can't watch without getting pissed off. That's the one when I see every time. How many times are you guys on YouTube and you see that? I'm sorry, I might be cussing a lot tonight, so if you're offended by things like this, you might need to go to a different show tonight or maybe watch the Golden Girls or some shit, okay? Golden Girl reruns or the Cosby Show. Do you like Bill Cosby? Okay? Anyway, every time I'm on YouTube, okay, I have different YouTube profile. I have different Chrome profiles, different Chrome browsers for different accounts, VonAllen history. So if I go on YouTube, it only brings up in the recommendation list historical documentaries and things like that. If I use VonAllen Sports Chrome browser, it only gives me sports stuff on YouTube. If I use the Æron VonAllen one, it gives me just stuff about music and bands and things like that. Okay, so you get the idea. So on VonAllen Sports, I always get football. About once every 3 or 4 days, I get a fucking video that says, the Philly Special. It's a stupid-ass video clip from the NFL YouTube channel, and it shows, you want Philly? And it shows it in the, I'm sure every one of you guys have seen this, okay, this clip that keeps coming up. And it pisses me off to no end. I'm just so tired of seeing it. And I must have put not interested in this like 1 or 2 times, and it still comes back, okay? That Super Bowl pisses me off. Why? Because that was completely self-inflicted. I'm sorry. If you're an Eagles fan and you were expecting me to give you props, you can suck it. All right? That game should have been a blowout. That game should have been a blowout. Okay? That should have been the Patriots, Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick's first Super Bowl where they just completely annihilated the team. And I'm not talking about just because the Malcolm Butler thing. Okay? I'm not saying that Malcolm Butler would have made the difference. I'm saying Belichick's entire defensive game plan was complete garbage. All right? It was complete garbage, complete shit. And he didn't change anything. He didn't change anything, okay, like he did in 2014, which led to Malcolm Butler's interception. You put Browner over on the other side. You saw that Chris Matthews was eating you up, okay? And you made the changes. You made the adjustments. You didn't do a damn thing in 2017. You just stood there. While Tom Brady was out there, I don't know, just setting records for a playoff game in NFL history. That's all. Out there throwing while he's getting sacked, while he's getting hit, just out there getting back up, walking off the field, pissed off, staring at Belichick ignoring him. That shit was self-inflicted, dude. That one pisses me off, okay? And this is what pisses me off. This stuff with the Bucs and with the Patriots, this pisses me off. This ineptitude, idiocy, complete idiocy. When that stupid-ass play for the Eagles, when they called the Philly Special, they did that. I remember this so well. Me and Milena were in Bulgaria. It was my first year going to school there. And we watched all the playoffs. We watched the Jaguars, the comeback against the Jaguars in the AFC Championship game. And I just remember that was so thrilling. That was so amazing. I thought, I remember because the Final Four of 2017 was Patriots versus Jaguars and Vikings versus Eagles. And I thought, all we got to do is beat Blake Bortles and the Jaguars, and we got this. We got a Super Bowl. We got another one. 2 in a row. We're going to do it. We're going to run it back. 2 in a row, just like in 03 and 04. Because on the other side was Nick Foles and Case Keenum. Never in the Patriots dynasty has there ever been a better setup than that year. That year. Everything went well. Everything. The Jaguars had put out the Steelers. The Steelers were good that year. You guys remember? We might have ran into the Steelers, and what if that was a different outcome? Because we didn't play that well against the Jaguars. I know they had the best defense in the league, but we didn't play that well. But they didn't have a Ben Roethlisberger on offense to balance it out. So we got a pretty good ride all the way to the end there. And I just thought, man, we got this. There's no way Belichick would let Case Keenum or Nick Foles defeat him on defense. It just can't happen. It just cannot happen. And neither the Eagles or the Vikings had a defense that I thought Tom Brady couldn't completely shred. And I was right about that. He did. He completely destroyed them in the Super Bowl. He had his way with that defense. That shit was self-inflicted, okay? So that was ego, idiocy, whatever you want to call it. So we have a super chat. Israel, $2. By the way, speaking of the Jaguars, Israel, how about them Cowboys losing to the Jaguars? Like, what was that about? Do you care to explain that, Israel? What happened there? I'm just curious. Yes, if I've got to be miserable, you got to be miserable too. Okay. So, even how you guys lost the Jaguars, you still didn't lose as bad as the Patriots just lost. The way they lost, nobody loses like the Patriots just lost. But anyway, Israel sends a $2 super chat. Says, it's probably not good business for me to chastise the guy who just sent me money. Right? That's probably bad business practice. Okay. Well, hey, at least you know something about me, guys. If I'm a politician and someone donates money to me, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be bought out by that donor, right? It means I'm still my own man, okay? If I'm willing to make Israel feel like shit after he sent me $2 American, well, there you go. Israel says, how many rings would you trade for Super Bowl 42? Oh. Well, obviously, I would at least trade one. So, sure you mean multiple. Would I trade multiple? I would trade, yes, I would trade two. I would trade, no, wait. Yeah, I would trade 04, 03 or 04, one of those, and 18. So yeah, so Tom would have 5 or 6. Let's see. So, well, had they, I don't know. That's weird. I mean, because it can't work like that. But what if that changes the course of history, though? See, the thing is that had they won the 2007 season, Tom doesn't get hurt. Tom doesn't get hurt in 2008 because the schedule dictated that they had to play the Chiefs. Had they won the Super Bowl, they would have been playing on Thursday night against a different team because they would have been the defending champions, and the defending champions opened the season on Thursday night. So he doesn't get hurt. 2008 had a more favorable schedule than 07. They probably would have won the Super Bowl again. So if I traded 2 for that one, I probably end up with more anyway, or at least the same amount. So let's say, I'll give up 04 and 18 for 07. And then 07 would propel us to get one in 08. And then 09, it could have been, who knows what happens, right? So, because then the years between Super Bowls, they still would have went to 2011, still would have lost. Then 2014, they still hadn't won in how long? So it would still been a while. So that hunger there to get another Super Bowl would have been there anyway. So I actually think I might end up with the same or more if I did do that trade. Maybe I'm overthinking this. So I don't know. It's just I don't like the idea of giving up more than one ring for another ring, even if but it would have meant that they're the greatest team of all time. It would have meant that Tom Brady was the quarterback of the greatest team of all time. And I think that might have even more clout than just 2 regular rings. But Tom ended up with 7. So he never even needed it. He never even needed the undefeated season to solidify. But at that time, he needed it. Let's say they won 01, 03, 04, and then they won Super Bowl 42. That gives Tom 4 rings and an undefeated season. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT right there. Because that ties him with Bradshaw and Montana, but he's the one with the undefeated season. So, and he was MVP that year. So, but I couldn't trade 2014. I could not trade 2016. I could not trade 01, the first one. I couldn't trade that one. So, but that's a great super chat. That's interesting. So. That's true, Satire Junk. If Brady had one in Super Bowl 42, he would have been 4-0, just like Bradshaw and Montana. And then the Montana people couldn't say, "Oh, he's undefeated," blah, 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 blah. Of course, they wouldn't be able to say that until 2011, and then he would have been 4-1. So, yeah, I don't understand how the Montana fans have worked out the math on this. The whole Montana's undefeated, never lost. Well, neither is Bradshaw, okay? Neither has Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman's 3-0. The thing about that is that how the math works with them. I understand talking about the 4-0 thing if Tom doesn't have 4. But if Tom has 4, but some losses, didn't he achieve more than Joe? Because that means he got his team to the Super Bowl. I know we've discussed this already. It's just, to me, it seems so stupid. Now that Tom's got 7, this whole thing is just pointless. But all right, thank you, Israel, for that. I appreciate it. But don't get down, my friend. The Cowboys are still a great team. You have to also remember that Doug Peterson's a pretty good coach. And he was going to have those Jaguars playing good football at some point, and they've been playing. They've been on an uptick recently. They've been playing hard, competitive. So it's not that surprising. And this is the NFL, guys. This is the NFL. That's just the way it is. So look what the Houston Texans did to the Chiefs. If the Houston Texans quarterback wasn't a total dumb shit and decided, "Hey, I'm gonna run the ball like I'm Michael Vick, and I'm just gonna hold it out and then let it get fumbled away." If he wasn't a complete dumb shit, they might have even won that game. And that was the Houston Texans, who had one win on the season. So anything can happen. Justin Chetlet. Look at that. Justin Chetlet utilizing the Torque logo. Spamming the shit out of the Torque logo. And you know what? He's allowed to do that because he's a console. All right? He's a console. He's a level 5. Level 5 in this, in the membership. So he's allowed to spam Torque all he wants. So what sounds better? Spam Torque or Torque spam? Either way. Jason Never Sleeps says, even if you leave out the rings and all that, Brady is a general. A general is rare. Although Joe, Terry, Troy may have been leaders, no one has ever been a general. like Brady. It's well said. Well said. Justin Chetlet says spork. Cool hand, Jared. I think Jason was referring to the guys with like 3 or more rings, like the dynastic quarterbacks. I think is what he was referring to. Yeah, no doubt. Peyton Manning is definitely a general too. But Peyton was never as good of a teammate as Tom has been. Peyton did have his moments where he would call out teammates and he would throw people under the bus sometimes. He had those moments quite a bit. I don't know if a lot of you guys remember that. The younger fans might not remember, but he did have that. So you can do that sometimes. It's okay. It depends on the context. It depends on what it was regarding. So, but I've never seen, not that I think of, I've never seen Tom do that. Now, I've seen him do it on the field, but he doesn't, that's like in the moment. The other day, he gave Mike Evans a go-to-hell look. So I don't know if you caught this, but in the first half, Mike Evans, the defensive back for the Bengals just rubbed up against him. And all of a sudden, he just, and it was incomplete, of course. Tom just gave him a death stare and then just shook his head like that. That was about Mike. That was Mike being a weak ass little pansy. So yeah, Brady's still not even. Yeah, Justin, Brady's not even still spoken about AB after everything AB has done to him and all this stuff, posting stuff about his wife and everything. He's never even talked about that. That's interesting, and he'd have every right to at this point. Yeah, bloody pleb. Peyton has never played that well in his Super Bowls. He's just, sometimes people they just don't perform well under that pressure. Some guys are just regular season players, and some guys are not regular season players at all, but they're playoff players, or they're both. Peyton, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, they're regular season guys. They can light it up all day long during the regular season when there's a schedule and they know what's coming and they prepare for it. And when the ups and downs of a season and all that, they can do that. And when it comes to playoffs, they shit themselves. It's strange, Then you got guys that are just playoff gods like Eli for some reason. Why does Eli sucks, okay? Eli Manning is a terrible quarterback. But when it comes to the playoffs, he has ice in his veins. And that may be, it may not even be him being good in the pressure moments. It may be just that he's so stupid and so clueless sometimes that it just may not affect him, like the moment. Maybe like the Todd Bowles effect or something. Like you're just so like, ugh. It could be week 2. It could be preseason. It could be the Super Bowl. Who knows? By looking at them, you don't know if they know. It could be that. Then you got Joe Flacco's run. And every time we ran into Joe Flacco, he always played well. Even in 2014, he nearly beat us in that divisional, took everything we had just to beat that fucker. All right? But during the regular season, he's nobody. And then you got Tom Brady. Tom Brady, who is a god during the season and a football god during the playoffs. It's weird. So, very strange. Yes, Phil Williamson, Eli Manning is one of the biggest mysteries in the history of sports. Jason, do you remember coming over to my apartment in Phoenix? 2006. I think it was 2006. and you were telling me that you had a client, and he was, you were spotting him for the weights, and then the guy was like, and then he just sits up and he doesn't talk much, and then all of a sudden he just says, it's all quiet, it's all random and completely out of context, and it just doesn't make sense, and he goes, "You know what, Jason? Eli Manning sucks." Just so random, just like so. It's not like they were talking about football or anything. It was just out of nowhere. Eli Manning sucks. Like it was on this guy's mind. Okay, it must have been like festering in his brain while he's sitting there working out doing that, and all in his brain he's just thinking, "My God, Eli Manning is just the shittiest quarterback I've ever seen." That's funny, man. That's yeah. Y'all weren't even talking about anything. That story's still in my head. Yeah, if we're talking about MVPs, we need to revisit some of Peyton Manning's MVPs because I have questions. So. Okay. Just so can we hang on just a second. Jason says I always wonder what kind of career Jordy Nelson would have had if not for injuries. Speaking of the Packers player, I've wondered that of Sterling Sharp. If Sterling Sharp did not get injured, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, well, bloody pleb, what you're talking about, Peyton, there, about showing his balls to a female trainer at Tennessee. That's the college hype machine and effect, and then they covered up in the NFL. That's called the first overall effect. That's what I was talking about on the previous show. Is when you're a first round quarterback, you get that if you perform even well, you're going to get the hype machine behind you. Now there is a downside to being a first round pick. The downside is if you struggle to beginning, you're a bust like immediately. Like they start calling you a bust. But if you play well, they're going to hype you to no end, okay, to the ends of the earth. So if you're outside of the first round and you're a quarterback, if you go on a roll and if you do well, if you slip up even a little bit, they're going to find your replacement. Good thing Tom didn't have that problem. So that's what I was thinking about Brock Purdy, is that Brock could take the the San Francisco 49ers deep into the playoffs, but if he has a screw up even once, if he costs them even one time, they're not going to give him a second chance. It's over. They're going to put Trey Lance back in next year when they get a chance. As soon as he's back, they're going to just throw him in there because he's a first rounder, and that's the deal. Doesn't matter if Brock actually technically was playing better overall. If he messes up once, it's over for him. So I want to talk about Bill Belichick. Bill really pisses me off sometimes, guys. And the reason it's not just what happened at the end of the Patriots game, okay? Hang on. Amelia? Just 1 second, guys. Milena? She's wanting to sit down, but if I move this, she'll be able to sit down and then she won't mess up anything. So, okay. Go ahead and sit down, Amelia. You want to be on the show? Okay. All right. So, Bill really pisses me off sometimes, okay? Now, this time, it's because when Brady played there, okay, the team was ran like the military, all right? Every player was held accountable, right? I mean, I remember there was a time, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Adalius Thomas, but don't quote me on that, okay? So, but there was a time where a guy was late for a meeting because he wrecked his car in a snowstorm or something like that, right? Bill didn't believe him, and he got rid of him, all right? Then he told Tim Tebow, okay? He told Tim Tebow not to do an endorsement that would have paid him $1 million, only to cut Tim a few days later. What the hell is that shit? Do you remember when he benched Jonas Gray after Jonas had like 5 touchdowns against the Colts because he overslept? All right, fair enough. Now, all these things, I'm not saying he did the wrong thing. I'm just trying to make a point here, so follow me. He traded away Randy Moss because he said in a press conference he didn't feel valued. The point is, he did these things when he had Brady because he knew he could. Okay? Ever since Brady left, Bill has been easier on the players. He seems more understanding and, I'm a different guy now. I'm a better person, blah, blah, blah. And that stupid bitch he dates. Anyway, he did everything possible in the post-game interview to protect Jacoby Myers. All right? That was weird, right? So he did that. But do you remember when he insulted Tom Brady after he won the AFC Championship game against the Jaguars and had a hole in his hand? And they said, "Oh, what do you think about Brady's toughness?" And he goes, "Oh, well, we're not talking about open heart surgery here." "Oh, no, Bill. No, Bill. We're just talking about a fucking scar all the way through his throwing hand. And he just came back against the best defense in football. That's all." But no, let's make it about you, Bill. Let's make it about you because you're still pissed off because you had to send Jimmy G away, so you're still whining about that. Okay. The point is that he did these things because he had Brady, right? Where was this type of understanding for the GOAT when Tom needed it, when Tom was looking for it? Now, you can't be Mr. Hardass when you don't have the greatest quarterback ever to deliver your message and drink the Kool-Aid. You got to have that guy. All right? Now, who remembers? How many of you guys remember how protective of Cam Newton he was? All the while knowing that Cam wasn't studying the playbook. He wasn't taking things seriously. And, of course, we didn't know about any of that at the time until after the fact, even into next season. But Bill protected his ass. Okay? Jacoby Myers should be fucking benched for that stupid-ass play he did the other night. Bench him for one game. Or the first quarter. Remember when he benched Wes Welker? He benched Wes Welker in a playoff game, a divisional game against the Jets that we lost. But he benched Welker the first quarter because he talked about Rex Ryan's feet. How stupid is that? All right? But you can get away with that when you're Bill Belichick because you have Tom Brady. With Jacoby, you have to send a message. You have to send a message for stupid shit like that. That one dumbass play may have cost us the playoffs. We don't know yet. We don't know how it's going to work out, but in the end, it may cost us. Okay? Now, that whole notion, that rumor that we heard, and I've read it in the book, but there's no guarantee that it's true because they don't tell us who said what. But I'm starting to believe that notion that Bill and his staff thought they could win a Super Bowl with the 15th ranked quarterback in the league. You guys remember that? All right. I'm not trying to turn against Bill. All right? That's not what this is. Okay? I just want some fucking answers. I want to know, okay? I want to know. She wants to know. You see this? She wants to know, why did you bench Malcolm Butler? I want to know why Danny Amendola wasn't paid. How come he turned down a first-round pick for Jimmy G and only took a second-rounder to send him to his friend in San Francisco? I want to know why he let Tom restructure his contract only to fucking trade Chandler Jones to the fucking Cardinals. The guy who just caught that stupid lateral the other night to win the game for the Raiders. I want to know why he made Gronk practice injured when it was clear that Gronk didn't need it. I want to know why he went for it on 4th and 2 on our own 20 against Peyton fucking Manning. All right? I want to know why he hired Matt Patricia as offensive coordinator and not even explaining why. I'm sick of not getting answers or clarity. I'm tired of it, okay? This shit was cute when they were winning, all right? But now it's annoying. Now it's annoying, okay? Guys, it's the hot girl crazy meter, okay? The hotter the girl is, the more crazy we'll put up with, right? All you guys men know the hot girl crazy meter. But if you start getting ugly, you're going to have to calm down on the crazy, all right? Now, that's Belichick right now with me. He's been really fucking ugly lately. So the cute Belichickian non-answers isn't cute anymore either. All right? If Brady was still in New England, Jacoby Myers wouldn't even suit up next week. He'd be standing on the fucking sidelines with a beanie and a hoodie. Listen, I'm fine going through a rough stretch, okay, to build towards something. That's fine, all right? But that's something he needs to do with the fan base. We need to do that together, all of us. Meaning he should give us answers and feedback on what's going on. Just something, anything. I'm not talking about strategy, okay? I just want him to give a few fucks about what we think. Just a few. Just one or two, okay? But no. Okay, he just keeps doing weird random shit that makes no sense, and he's expecting us to drink his piss. All right, and I'm tired of it. And you got to see these Patriots fans on YouTube and Twitter and stuff, how they just worship everything he does. And like I said, this was fine when you're winning Super Bowls. You can get away with that shit, but you can't with this stuff, this kind of thing going on, all right? They think they are real fans because they never questioned Bill Belichick, okay? They're moronic. A real fan criticizes. A real fan is concerned. A real fan wants some fucking answers, all right? I'm fed up with this, man. I didn't have a post game, okay? I told you this before. I didn't have it because it would have just been a crazy, okay? This is tame compared, all right? Bill Belichick is literally the guy that would piss down your back and tell you it's raining, all right? And then when you discover it's urine, he'll get mad at you for questioning it. Have you seen how he treats reporters? Have you seen it? They ask one difficult question.
Yeah, why do you do that? Why do you say that?
Okay? I have always been consistent, and I told you guys, I understand losing. It happens. Okay? But I cannot get on board with stupid shit. Stupid, pointless mistakes that cost us big. Like I said, Super Bowl 42 and 46 disappoint me, but I'm at peace with knowing that the Giants outplayed us. But Super Bowl 52 can go fucking donkey sideways as far as I'm concerned. All right? That should have been a blowout. Should have been a blowout. Super Bowl 52 should have looked like what the Bucs did to the Chiefs. That's what it should have looked like. So, Bill, you telling me that Bruce Arians is a better coach than you? Because Tom won a Super Bowl with his inept ass, and you've not done shit. The only thing you've done is lose a playoff game. It was so embarrassing. One of the most historically embarrassing losses I've ever seen. You guys remember what Chad Ochocinco said? Remember when he was asked if he felt pressure by Belichick to do everything perfect, and he said, no, it was what Tom Brady demanded. It's what Tom wanted. He's like, it wasn't Bill, it was Tom. And that's why it works. That's why it worked. Bill's way does work. It does. But you have to have a quarterback like Brady, okay, to hold the players accountable. You have to have that guy in the locker room who is the buffer, the guy delivering the message, the guy showing the example. You have to have that, all right? Julian Edelman tried to do that in 2020. But a quarterback is different. Wide receiver can try to do it, but a quarterback is different. And, of course, Julian was injured, worn down. He wasn't getting much traction with what he was trying to do. But you got to be a quarterback, really. If you put Tom Brady on the Patriots right now, they shoot to the top of the board as one of the Super Bowl favorites. Instantly. That fast. 2022 Bucs without Brady. 2022 Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now without Tom Brady is 2-12. But the 2022 Patriots right now with Brady, 12-2. Those two motherfuckers just need to hug it out, okay? They need to hug it out, and they need to go back to ruling the universe again. All right? I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to tell them. I miss the feeling of everyone fearing us. I miss it. When the Patriots came to your stadium, you were concerned, okay? You had anxiety. When you went to visit the Patriots, you were already at a mental disadvantage. I loved that feeling. I loved being the empire. I loved being the evil empire. No one fears us. No one. I don't know what happened at the end of that game. Okay. I don't understand. I really don't believe that Belichick or any of the coaches told them to lateral that ball. Okay. I think what happened is that they ran the ball and they thought, what if he breaks open and maybe he could make something happen and get lucky? That seems kind of weird to me. I don't know why they just didn't down the ball. But Belichick said that they didn't go for a Hail Mary because they couldn't throw that far. He's basically saying that Mac couldn't throw 55 yards. I don't know of any NFL quarterback who can't throw 55 yards. Do you guys believe that Mac Jones can't throw at 55 yards? Because I'd find that hard to believe. If he can't, okay, let's just say if that's true, all right, and he can't throw 55 yards. Bill Belichick drafted a quarterback to take over for Tom Brady that cannot throw 55 yards. They're high school kids that can throw 55 yards. By the time Brett Favre graduated high school, he was throwing at 70 yards. So if that's the case, Bill, that's on you. So he said that as if it's not his problem. Well, it is your problem. First of all, that means you drafted a guy that can't throw 55 yards. And then if he couldn't throw 55 yards when you drafted him, how have you not developed his arm strength and his throwing mechanics in order to throw harder or farther than 55 yards. Again, that's on you. When you draft a quarterback, you're responsible for their development. So I hope he didn't mean that. I hope that's not what he meant. Okay? I hope not. But Mac did go on a radio show and he said he can throw it. He could have done that. He said he could have. So who knows? But it comes off bad, right? It does. It would be nice if he clarified his remarks. But he won't do that because he's Bill Belichick and he doesn't have to. And nobody's going to make him. So listen. While I understand that Mac is talking shit to Matt Patricia, so a few weeks ago, you guys know the famous where he looks at him and he says, the quick game sucks. Let's stop doing that. Let's throw the ball. And then recently he was going onto the field and he turns around and he tells Matt to shut the F up. Bill Belichick never would have tolerated that before. The only person he would have put up with that from even a little bit would have been Brady. Okay? Mac Jones ain't Tom Brady. Okay? And I don't recall Brady ever doing that in his first few years in the league. Okay? That was way down the road when Tom had those issues with, Bill O'Brien and all those other guys. So, little problems with other players and stuff like that. I understand why Mac's doing it because he knows that he knows more about the offense than Matt Patricia probably does. Let's be honest. So, but the point is that Bill never would have tolerated that before. So something's wrong there. Something's different. So you said I had a super chat?
Yeah, Dave.
Okay. Dave Wilhauer sends a $5 super chat. He says, preach, Aaron. The Pats never punted the whole game and still lost. Well, I mean, are you surprised? I mean, they're finding new and inventive ways to lose games. So I think Jacoby got excited, completely forgot that it was a tie game and all he had to do was go down. And I think he went into I have to score now mode and threw it back. I think he thought he was throwing it back to Mac Jones. He didn't. He said he didn't see Chandler Jones. I certainly hope he didn't see Chandler Jones because if he did, that means you threw it right to him. Moron. Mac Jones's attempted tackle of Chandler was utterly pathetic. But you can't expect a quarterback to tackle one of the best defensive ends in football. So that's... Although I would have expected at least a little better effort, though. Here's what I would have tried if I was Mac Jones. I would have seen Chandler coming, and I would have just jumped on him like a baby monkey. Okay? Those little baby monkeys, and they just jump on the back of their mom. Just hold on. Hold on for dear life. I would have made Chandler have to run with me on him. Right? Just... and see if he can make it to the end zone with my ass on him, hanging on the whole way. And hopefully by the time it takes him to get to the end zone with me hanging all over him, maybe one of our guys can make it there and tackle him or something. I don't know. But it looked like Mac was trying to go underneath and it's weird. Go watch the replay. It's weird. I'm not really sure. It's one of those things where Mac, it looked like he didn't know what he wanted to do. He tried to do two different things at the same time. It's like when you're speaking, you're trying to say two words at the same time, and it comes out sounding like one weird word that doesn't make sense. That's kind of what it was when he was trying to tackle Chandler Jones. It was like, am I going to go high? Am I going to go low? Oh, I'm stuck in no man's land, and then Chandler just pushes him down like he is a bag of potatoes. No big deal. But yeah, I'm willing to put up with a lot of bullshit if we're winning and if we're doing well, you know. And like I said, I can absolutely handle, you know, being patient. I didn't freak out in 2000 except for that one game where nobody could catch. That one pissed me off. Again, it had nothing to do with losing. It was the professional football players not catching a football. But other than that, I was patient. I understood the situation. Tom had just left. It's going to be hard to fill a big hole and like that. And I was like, okay, well, they can draft a quarterback in 2021 and have some cap room and, you know. But I want to at least know what's going on. I at least want Bill to seem like he cares. It seems like he's just hanging on just long enough to try to beat Don Shula's record. But you know, Bill, you have to actually win games in order to beat that record. And you were getting towards that record because you had Tom Brady and you were winning 12, 14 games per season on average. So you need to do that again somehow. Have you guys ever looked at that scenario with Jimmy G when he traded Jimmy G? Have you really looked at it really closely? Let me tell you something. When he sent Jimmy G, okay, to San Francisco, the Cleveland Browns were offering up a first rounder. He declined that. 2 days after, actually, scratch that. At the beginning of 2017, the Cleveland Browns allegedly offered 2 first rounders for Jimmy G, or a first and a second, or something close to that. It was a lot. It was a lot, right? But then Bill declined. San Francisco called, and San Francisco called about Jimmy before the season started. And at that time, Bill was still thinking about what to do. I don't know what he had in mind. Maybe he thought he could franchise Jimmy for the 5th year, or Jimmy might agree to stay a little longer. Don't know what he was thinking exactly because he doesn't tell us shit, right? But San Francisco calls and says, hey, will you trade us Jimmy? He says, no, not right now. And then they go, well, will you trade us Tom Brady? And then he said, no. So no to both. Okay. But the trade deadline is approaching. And Bill has to get rid of somebody. He has to get rid of Tom, or he has to get rid of Jimmy. So he trades Jimmy, right? Cleveland now understands that he's got to make a deal or he won't get anything because Jimmy could leave in the next year. So Bill has lost all leverage. Bill has lost every bit of leverage he had before the year started. So Cleveland has lowered their offer to a first rounder and I think a 6th and a 7th. Okay, so it's changed a bit. Still a good deal, still worth it. He declines them. 2 days later, he accepts a 2nd rounder from San Francisco. Had he accepted, now by the way, what he did with that 2nd rounder, he traded out in the next year's draft in 2018. He traded out, and all those picks went somewhere else, and it's hard to follow. You're really going to need like one of those conspiracy theorist people who use the yarn and tacks on the wall. And you're going to have to do all that just to figure out where the hell that 2nd rounder went to. Okay. Now, had he taken the Cleveland Browns pick, as it turns out, that Cleveland Browns pick ended up being the number 4 pick, I believe. And at that point, Josh Allen was still on the board. Josh Allen had not been picked yet. So it's possible that he could have had Josh Allen. And then that would have meant Josh Allen was sitting behind Brady in 2018 and 2019. And then when Brady leaves, Josh Allen comes out firing in 2020. And everything's different. Everything's different. And we have a quarterback for the next 15 years. Now, I'm just pointing out, I'm not saying that would have happened. I'm just pointing out that could have happened. Okay? Knowing Bill, he probably wouldn't even have drafted Josh. He would have probably traded it out for 4 4th-rounders, 2 7th-rounders, and 6 6th-rounders in the year 2047. Okay? So, who knows? Who knows? But I'm just saying that was there. That was possible. So, I pissed off a few Patriots fans, by the way, posting that stuff on Twitter. Especially one butthurt guy that I saw Gord King was trying to get through to him, okay? And it didn't work, okay? I think he takes his daily dose of Bill Belichick urine every morning on schedule, okay? So, now, the argument about him not sending Jimmy to Cleveland is an argument that I actually used to use. I would use that to defend Bill for what he did. I said he did Jimmy a solid there. Okay. I have changed my opinion knowing what I know today, which is Bill actually did what was best for Bill and not what was best for the Patriots. Now, all Bill does is talk about what's best for the team. TEAM, the team. That's what Mr. Kraft's paying me for. Okay, we all know that famous quote. But when it comes to doing what's best for the team, Bill never does. When it's between him, what he wants, and whatever. I know now, based on everything I've seen, that Bill did not send Jimmy to San Francisco for Jimmy's benefit. He sent Jimmy to San Francisco for Kyle Shanahan's benefit, because Kyle Shanahan's father is one of Bill's best friends. That was a personal favor. Okay? What Bill could have done, possibly, is traded Tom. Traded Tom to the 49ers. Who knows? Okay? I don't know. That's an option. Or in 2020, when Tom was trying to find a team, he tried to get with the 49ers, and for some inexplicable reason, they changed their mind. They were like, we feel like it's a lateral move from Jimmy Garoppolo to Tom Brady. How on earth could you say that? How? How are you supposed to say that you're Kyle Shanahan, this great football mind, and you somehow think that Jimmy Garoppolo and Tom Brady are the same quarterback at that time? I don't care what you saw in 2019. I don't give a shit. If Tom Brady is the quarterback of the 49ers against the Chiefs, that Super Bowl is over. That shit is done. The 49ers had a 10-point lead up on the Kansas City Chiefs. In that fourth quarter, Tom makes those throws. Okay? Tom ends it. He puts the nail in the coffin. And the Chiefs lose again. That's what happens. And you're telling me that it's a lateral move? Idiot. Or maybe Belichick didn't want Tom Brady to go and win a Super Bowl without him. And he knew that if he went to San Francisco, okay? I want to tell you guys something, okay? When you're signing a free agent, okay, this is how it works. When you are a general manager and an owner of a team, and you're looking to sign a big free agent, you're bringing a big free agent in, especially a quarterback. The very first thing you do is call the teams where that quarterback is coming from. You pick up the phone and you call that player's coach. The 49ers, no doubt, talked to Belichick about Tom. And for whatever reason, something that Bill said apparently did not sway them to move on from Jimmy to Tom. Am I supposed to believe that Bill gave Tom a glowing review? Just wondering. Again, speculation. Can't prove any of this. Just wondering. Just wondering. Think it's weird. A little weird. Now, Tom goes and apparently, that we know now, had a deal in principle with the Raiders. The Raiders. Helm and Gronk were supposed to go to the Raiders. Okay, that was agreed to. Then all of a sudden, they changed their mind. We don't want to do that. We're going to stay with Derek Carr. Okay. That's weird. The owner, Mark Davis, son of Al Davis. Could be a connection there with Bill. You call Bill up. Bill says whatever. Tom tries to get with the Titans. Who's the coach there? Mike Vrabel. Played for Bill Belichick. Won 3 Super Bowls with Bill Belichick. Oh, no. We're going to go ahead and stick with Ryan Tannehill. Doors just being closed in Tom's face. Everywhere. Everywhere he goes. Until finally Tampa signs him. Bruce Arians, who can't stand the Patriots and has no love for Bill Belichick whatsoever. So there really wasn't a chance for Bill to intervene if he was going to intervene. And again, I'm not saying that Bill did anything. Maybe these teams did it out of loyalty to Bill. Who knows? So maybe it was an unspoken thing. But I'm telling you now that looking back on it, I find it very, very weird that both the 49ers and Raiders seem to have a lot of interest in Tom and then all of a sudden just completely go cold. And I'm really shocked. The biggest shock to me was the Titans. That one. I can't believe Mike Vrabel did not want Tom. That's weird. That's just so bizarre to me, especially the way the team is built. The Titans are built exactly for that type of, they're like the old school Patriots, man. Tom is the key to them. That's it. Tom is the difference maker for the Titans. That would have made them the Super Bowl contenders. The favorites, I mean. And also, you just don't want that? You don't, I mean, it's weird. It's right. It's weird. So, yeah, whatever. Israel sends a $5 super chat. He says, it's like the longer Tom is gone, the more and more we find Belichick to be very flawed and exposed more and more. All things are coming to fruition. The thing is, Israel, and you're absolutely right, it's that Bill's way, okay, it's the Parcells way, it's the, very, very similar, okay? But it only works if you have that clout and you have that guy in the locker room who buys in and who's basically making those things happen as well, okay? You need that player or players that's an extension of you. And they're not getting that. So you can hardly be this militaristic coach, and demand all this from everybody when no players see another bigger, better player doing similar things. Okay. It just doesn't translate. You've got to pull back on the reins a bit. But then when you do that, you get disrespect. Okay. So like when Mac is disrespecting Matt Patricia, he's disrespecting Belichick. When Jacoby Myers, for example, sees Mac doing that, he has no fear anymore to just lateral it back like an idiot. Okay. I'm just making up random things here or examples. I don't know if that was the reason, but I'm just saying these things can happen. It can snowball. All right. So this disrespect can just spread like a virus. Okay. And that's what can happen. So it can go the other way. So when they're seeing Mac disrespect the coaching staff and then they put up with it, other players see that and they no longer fear Belichick and they no longer fear it. Okay, it's not easy to play for the Patriots. Okay, it's not easy to play for the Patriots when everything's good, but imagine playing for the Patriots when you suck. That's got to be really shitty. So. Okay. Dave Wilhauer sends a $2 super chat. He says, sorry, I was talking about Super Bowl versus Eagles. Wi-Fi delay. Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're good. What is that noise? Outside. Oh, okay. Cool Hand Jared sends a $2 super chat. He says, Tom be like, I'll just bring a Super Bowl elsewhere. Yeah. I mean, he went and won with one of the most inept, dumbass coaches I've ever seen. And he won a Super Bowl with it. It's weird, so... But Bill's way can work if you've got that guy. You put Tom right back into the Patriots next year, and you let him be involved like he wanted to be before, the Bill Belichick thing works again. It does. It just immediately starts working again, and it's back. The excitement's back and all that. But you got to let Tom be involved. You got to let Tom decide. You got to let him be involved with who the offensive coordinator is and what players they want around and stuff. You need to make sure that he is comfortable with the guys that he's playing with. You do that, and then the Belichick thing works again. So that's the thing. You've got to have that guy. And this is why I say quarterback 1, coach 2. Those are the most important things you need. If you got those, you are good. You are in business. So take Andy Reid away from the Chiefs right now. And they're gonna have seasons where it's not so good. I don't think they'll suck, or anything like that because they got a lot of great players. But it's not going to be where they're in the AFC Championship game, Super Bowl every year, right? Or you take Patrick away from the Chiefs, it's the same thing. It's going to be back to when Andy Reid was getting to the playoffs, but he wasn't getting over the hump. He wasn't getting past the first round and crap like that. So you need both. You need them both. If you want consistency, if you want to be constantly playing well all the time. So, but I will never yield. I will never say I'll give credit to a coach over the players. I just can't do it. I cannot give a coach all credit over the quarterback who has to perform and has to make it work, who has to make it happen. The coach never sets foot on the field. He never has to do anything. He is completely reliant on all of his players to do the work for him. So by just that alone, you have to say that the elite quarterback is the number one guy. You have to give it to him when it comes down to it. So. Gord King sends a $5 super chat. He says, keeping Bill the head coach isn't worth keeping Bill the GM. Demote him off the ladder or cut the cord. Bill the GM is shit, Gord King, and it's infuriating. And you know for a fact that Bill is never going to do that. He is never going to turn over the GM duties. And there was a perfect time for that over the years where you had guys who could do that, who you could hand over the GM duties to. And Bill could have still been involved if he wanted to, of course, but his ego is not going to let him do that. This is the same ego that let Tom walk out, so If I was Belichick, I would have been grabbing on to Tom's ankles like a little 2-year-old as he's trying to drag out of the stadium. I'd been like, no, 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 no. You're not going. You're not going anywhere. Obey me. Obey me. Obey my cat. Obey me. You're not going anywhere. Mike Miller says, or Mike Miller asks, should the Patriots try to get Aaron Rodgers? Well, they have some cap room, but Aaron has to be traded for. And the Packers are going to want an arm and a leg. So you're going to have to pay out the wazoo trade-wise, and you're going to have to accept his contract. There are going to be other teams that would be willing to give way more than the Patriots ever would or could and still hope to be a contender. I don't think that Bill needs an elite quarterback right now in Aaron Rodgers as much as he needs new coaching staff first. Because if you bring Aaron in to work under Matt Patricia, you have any idea what's going to happen? If they think that Mac is bitching at Matt Patricia's bad, can you imagine Aaron Rodgers? Have you seen what he's done to coaches? Have you seen what he's done to coordinators? Him and Matt Patricia would be trying to murder each other by week 3. I mean, that's... So unless Bill fixes that, it really don't matter who he brings in. But I also don't see that it's feasible. To be honest with you, if Josh was still the offensive coordinator and they still had that consistency and everything, and they were bringing in some decent players, they could have easily gone after Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan could have been the difference maker for the Patriots because that's what they needed. They don't need that. They just needed a smart, seasoned guy. They could have done. There's a lot of different avenues they could have gone down. But if they don't change the coaching, then it doesn't really matter. Okay, so look at Tampa Bay right now. They've got a lot of good players, but the coaching is so inept. I mean, who's worse? Who's the worst offensive coordinator? Byron Leftwich or Matt Patricia? So we're gonna take a side. Let me see. Hang on. Give me just a second. I'll be right back, and then I'm going to tell you guys who won their things, and then oh, my glasses are all screwed up. And then I'm going to tell you guys who won, and then we can get back to bitching and complaining about week 15. Okay, just 1 second. All right. Don't go anywhere. If you go anywhere, I will trade all of you to the Houston Texans for a bag of Doritos. That jacket I had on was getting hot there. And Amelia had to jump on me, didn't she? She got cat hair all over me. Look at that. All right. Super chat.
Super chat.
Super chat. Oh. Elf of Courage sends a $5 super chat. It says, if you go anywhere, I will come for you. I will find you. And I will trade you. Gord King says, I want to see Æron pulling on Matt's beard while Matt pulls on Aaron's Adolf Hitler haircut. I agree. Dude, seriously, Aaron Rodgers, man, what is with that haircut? That's funny. By the way, who doesn't love that movie we just quoted, Taken? So, great movie. I still want to slap the shit out of his daughter, though. Just whoop. Stupid bitch. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, he went for the whole Hitler Youth haircut, didn't he? So. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys who won. If you don't know that if you won or not, if you don't know, if you didn't remember or didn't write down who you had, you're about to find out for sure. Okay, you guys ready? You ready? You ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, let's try this. Do 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 do. Do 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 da da ba da 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 da. James Johnson. James, where are you, James? Where are you, James? James lost to Nightly Sinister. It was Herbert versus Tua for touchdowns. Herbert had 0, which is a rare, strange thing for Herbert not to have a touchdown. Tua had 2. So Nightly Sinister, you go on to the round of 8. Congratulations. Elf of Courage, you won your round with Dak Prescott, had 23 completions. Angel Eliab had Aaron Rodgers with 22 completions. Elf of Courage, you won by 1 completion. Congratulations. Elf of Courage, you're going to the next round. Anthony Preston. You guys were also on completions. Anthony Preston had Tom Brady with 30 over Tyree Vaughn, who had Joe Burrow, who had 27. Congratulations, Anthony Preston. You are going to the next round. Hey, we're not interested in your private sexy photos unless they're naked photos of Bill Belichick or Joe Biden. Okay? If you don't have those, then stop posting it. Okay. Diane Tincher. Diane, if you're out there, Princess Diane. Her game against Dave Wilhauer was for touchdowns. And Diane had Joe Burrow, who had 4. Dave Wilhauer with Brady, who had 3. And Dave would have won if Todd Bowles wasn't a complete fucking idiot. So, Diane Tincher, congratulations. You are going to the next round. Diane Tincher, come on down. Spin the wheel. Big money. Big money. James, not James Johnson, but just James, the gentleman who I don't think even knows he's in the tournament. But it doesn't make a difference at this point because he lost to Brad Gold. Brad Gold, they were working on the yardage, which is running, rushing yards and passing yards. Brad Gold had Jalen Hurts with 376. Mahomes, 369. This is very, very, very close. What gave Brad Gold the win was Jalen Hurts' rushing yards. So, also, Hurts and Mahomes are in contention for the MVP. Hurts did hurt his shoulder against the Chicago Bears, so I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. If Mahomes is going to want the MVP, he's going to have to play lights out for the rest of the season, and they're going to have to be the number one seed in the AFC. And even still, I don't know if it's going to be enough. If they might give it to Jalen, so we'll see. John Thomas Chavez, you were in yards as well. You had Mahomes. Well, with Mahomes, you won that one. 369. John Thomas Chavez defeats Bitcoin Motorist. Bitcoin Motorist had Justin Herbert, who had only 315 yards. Congratulations, John. You are going to the next round. Wait. The Gourd King. What? The Gourd King defeated my sister? I thought this thing was rigged. Milena. You told me that this was rigged for my family.
Not exactly how to do that.
Son of a bitch. All right. The Gourd King defeats my sister, Sherry Allen. Turnovers. Mahomes had 0, which is surprising. He's been throwing picks left and right like they're Skittles on Halloween. Kirk Cousins had 2 in that ridiculously stupid game against the Colts, which was fun to watch, though, I'll tell you that much. Gourd King, you are going to the next round. Congratulations. Uh-oh. Another. Now all of my family members are out of this tournament. This is not good. Mastermind 2553, you have defeated Jason Allen. Kirk Cousins had 4 touchdowns in that big comeback against the Colts. Jason Allen had Tom Brady, who had 3 touchdowns. So Tom had a good statistical game. It just wasn't enough because the Colts completely imploded. So, Mastermind, congratulations to you. You were going to the next round. So that's everybody for that. And guys, make sure that you're here on Friday night is the show, not Saturday, because on Saturday I will be traveling to Phoenix, Arizona. I'll be going to visit my brothers in Phoenix, and on Sunday night we will be at the Cardinals-Bucks game. So my brother Steven was kind enough to get us tickets for to see Tom Brady against the Cardinals. So I'll be there. So I'm gonna have to do the show on Friday, but I will try to report to you guys from the game at some point on Sunday. So that'd be cool. Yeah, go ahead, Jared. That was kind of what I was going for. I can't rig it against the king. Yeah, Milena really dropped the ball on that. She had 2 chances to put my siblings through to the next round. She screwed it up. I swear. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed that I couldn't rig it properly. I need to talk to those rigged guys. Those guys who think that there are magnets in the goalpost. I could learn a thing or two from them. Ooh, put magnets in the dice. That'd be cool. Okay, I'm going to pull up the games real quick. I just want to make sure I went over every one of them that I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about it. Golden years. Oh. Kicking in chairs and knocking on the angel. Boom, boom, baby. Okay. By the way, the NFL.com site is the worst site ever. It's slow as hell. Elf of Courage, since the $2 super chat, he says, I may be up against Gord King in the Final Four. Gord King says, he sends a $2 super chat and says, for Nefertari, she rigged in my favor. Oh, so you and Gord King were colluding? Is that what happened? I see what's going on here. Sorry to interrupt. Dude, this is pathetic. I can't even pull up the damn scores on NFL.com. The app? I gave up on the app. I deleted that shit from my phone. It's just, it's worthless garbage. How can an organization, the NFL itself, how can they have such terrible stuff? I mean, it's because they spend all the money putting magnets in the goalpost. And they spend all the money on developing drone technology with Area 51. And so they can't put money into the website. So they've got to cut corners here and there, right? Is that how it works? This is pathetic. Here's a photo, okay? I found this on Twitter. This was made from the Jets fans years ago, like 2018-ish. The Todd Bowles chart of emotions: happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, fear, surprise, shame, envy, contempt. It's all the same stupid ass look. Nothing's changed. This isn't us Tom Brady fans just freaking out because we worship Tom Brady and we can't handle that they're struggling. No. These are Jets fans complaining about the same shit back in years and years ago. Okay? So don't tell me that we're just making it up. Okay? Just not making it up. Why is the NFL trending? It's usually something stupid. You know, I'm getting sick of Tom's Let's Go podcast, and it's nothing but fucking rappers and comedians and stupid ass singers and whoever else he can find just because they have a famous name. I don't give a flying shit what they have to say about anything at all, much less getting airtime talking about football regarding a shitty season like the Bucs. So I'm getting sick of that. In fact, just to let you guys know, I had to turn off the Peyton and Eli Monday Night Football Manning cast. I can't handle it anymore. I used to start watching it. I watched it because I liked hearing Peyton and Eli's feedback regarding the game, and that was interesting. But they have all these celebrities on there. People, fucking Condoleezza Rice. Why in the flying shit would I care what that bitch has to say about anything regarding football at all? Why would I care anything at all that she has to say in general? Who got us in a 20-year fucking war? All right. So why are these people up there? Why are we listening to them? Why are you putting politicians and shit up there? Why are you putting comedians that aren't even funny on there? And when they have a guest, they talk all the way through it. They talk about nonsense and nothing. They don't pay attention to the game. So I had to switch that off too. But this is just getting on my nerves. It really is. I don't know if I'm just becoming a jackass or something, or if you guys feel the same way. But it really is. It's getting obnoxious. So, but Brady seems to be more interested in a post-retirement life while he's still playing than he is actually playing. He keeps worrying about he's doing retirement stuff. He's been doing this for a few years now, but I don't know. I don't learn anything new. I don't feel like when I'm watching these podcasts that I'm getting feedback for the season. I don't it's just nonsense. And it's not just Tom, it's all of them. It's just, that's what this social media thing's gone. I mean, what was it last week? Adam Sandler and Tracy Morgan. I mean, if I have to see Tracy Morgan fumble and stumble through broken run-on sentences one more time ever again, I mean, I'm going to just blow up my TV. So why does people keep booking him? Why do people keep booking Tracy Morgan, Kevin Hart, fucking all these people? Like, I don't get it. So anyway. Yeah, bloody pleb. Yes. Yeah, Anthony Fauci's scheduled for next week's Manning cast. It's perfect. It's going to work well. So, yes, I've always wanted to know what Adam Sandler has to say about football. I've been curious. I've been waiting for that analysis. I've been waiting for Tracy Morgan's top-notch feedback. Yeah, it's just, I've been on the edge of my seat wondering what was going to happen. So, it's fucking stupid. They had it perfect 3 weeks ago when Tom had Sean Payton on his show. That was perfect. That there you go. Now we're talking. Okay. I think I know who Tom Brady's next guest should be, though. It should be that Bankman-Fried guy. The guy that Tom and Giselle gave all that money to.
Oh, yeah.
He should be on Tom's next podcast, and they could talk about crypto investment, and we could see how that goes. So remember when Adam Sandler was funny? I remember when comedians were funny. I don't know what happened to that. I don't know. Like, all these people, they're just coked out, they're just cokehead, fucking alcoholic has-beens. They all look old as shit. All these celebrities, man, that they look like they're 95 and they're really only like 60, 55, 60. And they just babble through everything. And they're trying to just hold on to relevancy so hard, and they're just trying to stay important, and they're just trying to, they crave it, they crave the attention and they can't let go. Yeah, going back to the NFL app, Phil. Yeah, I got so frustrated with the NFL app, I just deleted it off my phone. Just, it's gone. So I can't deal with it. Can't work with it. Can't work with it. Can't deal with it. Can't do it. Who you guys remember who said that? Dig deep. Dennis Green, that's close. Very close. But no. Colehan Jared got it right. Yep, Mike Singletary. I want winners. You know what else annoys me? I don't know. Maybe I should stop. Okay. That's right, Anthony Davis. It was Mike Singletary about Vernon Davis. I'm just going off. This isn't even about football anymore. This is just me bitching about everything that annoys me. So, Pepsi? Yeah, Pepsi's actually not that bad. I actually like Pepsi. So, maybe we should have a channel called VonAllen Rants. Right, Alpha Courage? Diddly Poo rant was pretty good. We didn't do Diddly Poo. That guy, he had the best rants of anybody that never cussed. I don't remember him ever cussing. I'm not sure, but I don't think he did. Well, if anybody thought that this episode was going to be anything but me bitching and complaining about stuff, then you were in for the wrong episode. So. Okay, I'm going to have to rely on ESPN to pull the scores up since the NFL website won't do it for me. That's all. I only pay $100 a year for those stupid motherfuckers to watch the stuff, the content on there, and watch replays of the games, only for it to never work. That's brilliant. You have to love it. So again, of course, we talked about the Vikings-Colts on Saturday night. Don't need to revisit that. Browns beat the Ravens. Go Eddie! You know, I'm at the point now where I might just become a Browns fan. I might pack my bags. I'm gonna move to Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm gonna live right next to the stadium, right next to the Factory of Sadness. And me and Addie are gonna hang out every day. We're gonna have tea and crumpets and shit like that. I'm gonna wear a summer frock, and he's gonna wear a summer dress, and we're just gonna talk about how great the Cleveland Browns are and how many Super Bowls they're gonna win. And we'll invite Deshaun Watson over for massage therapy. Eagles over the Bears. That was interesting. The Bears actually played them pretty well. So, now here's what's interesting about the NFC South. The Saints beat the Falcons. The Falcons were on the Bucs' doorstep, and they were kind of coming back on them, right? And the Panthers were the same thing. They were saying if the Panthers win every game for this year, that they could win the division and blah blah blah. And they lost too. They found a way to lose to the Steelers. So this NFC South, not even those guys could get one freaking win in order to put pressure on the Bucs. So the Bucs have zero pressure on themselves, and they're literally trying to win the division with a losing record. It's like until there's pressure on them, they don't seem to give shit about anything. So I cannot believe this team is the team with Tom Brady on it. I just cannot believe it. It's shocking. Of course, I talked earlier about how the Jaguars defeated the Cowboys in overtime, and one of the weirdest places to walk off on a game, if not for the Raiders game. Chiefs Texans, we mentioned that one. Broncos over the Cardinals. Did anyone even watch that game? Did you even know it happened? What a train wreck. Chargers over Titans. Titans, what the hell happened to the Tennessee Titans? You know, we say this every week. What happened to the Titans? Don't know. Can't do it. Can't win with them. Can't play with them. Can't bet on them. Can't root for them. Can't do it. Buccaneers and Bagels, how are you up 17-0 and you completely let them score 34 unanswered points? 30. Wait, no, it wasn't 34. It was 20. How many unanswered points before they started coming back? It was 20 something, right? 21, maybe 24. Well, in the end, the final score was 34-23. So when the Bucs scored 6 at the end, they didn't get the 2-point conversion. Too little, too late, guys. Too little, too late. Going back to I just reminded myself the Raiders Patriots game. That Raiders that touchdown, his foot was out, his toe was out. Okay. I think what happened is that the refs, the call on the field is a touchdown. So in order to reverse a actual on the field call, which always takes precedence, you've got to have very obvious, without a shadow of a doubt, visual evidence to overturn a call. And I think that the ref did not feel like he had that. I'm not justifying him. I'm just saying that I think that was the thinking process. But in my opinion, from what I saw, it looked like his toe was out because you could see the white line and you could see the white line disappear into black, meaning his toe was there. But it doesn't mean his toe was on the ground. It could mean that his toe was over it. But we can't know that because they didn't show us the angle from the other side. For whatever reason. I don't know why. I thought there were cameras in every pylon. I thought there was cameras on all sides. But all they gave us was 2 angles. One was really high and looked like it was filmed with a potato. And the other one was from a different angle that was worst possible angle to try to figure out. Don't know what the hell that was all about. But still, okay, even with that, we still could have won the game. All we had to do was just go into overtime and hopefully we can get something done there. Packers got a big win at home against the Rams. Now, I say big because the Packers have to win every game if they want to make the playoffs, and they need help. So I did the playoff scenarios, and the Packers can make it. They can. And honestly, the Raiders can make the playoffs too. How weird is that? But they're going to need a little bit of help. They're going to have to win all their games, and they're going to need some help. Now, the problem for the Patriots is this. They don't have a schedule where they can benefit from any team that would sit their players before the playoffs. They have the Bengals next week, or this weekend, this Saturday. The Bengals are still playing for their spot, and they're trying to improve so they're going to be playing hard. The week after that is the Dolphins. The Dolphins are they're still playing hard because they want to make the playoffs, so they're going to be, looking for a win there. And then they've got to go to Buffalo for the last week of the year. And Buffalo is not going to sit their guys because they're going to be playing for the number 1 seed. They're going to be fighting Kansas City to try to get that number 1 seed locked up. So there's no way in hell they're going to. Unless this just something weird happens and the schedule changes to where the Buffalo cannot get the number 1 seed for whatever reason. And they just settle for 2, like in that kind of weird scenario. But you can't count on it. All I know is that this doesn't look good. Okay? This doesn't look good. So the Patriots are going to have to play great football. But look at these losses. You lost to the Dolphins in week 1. You lost to the Ravens week 3. Packers. You lost to the Bears. Lost to the Vikings and Bills. and you lost to the Raiders. You lost to some pretty good teams, and you lost to some average teams. You beat the Steelers, which we know is not good. You beat the Lions, who, if you played the Lions now, I think you'd lose. The the Browns, they beat the Browns. They might have trouble with the Browns now. Beat the Jets twice. That's always good. Love beating the Jets. Fuck the Jets. Beat the Colts, which we know is completely just complete garbage. Beat the Cardinals. Easy. Kyler went down, but does it really matter? He would just ran around like a toddler anyway, and they probably would have beat them. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't look good. It looks pretty difficult here. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know if we even make the playoffs, and if we do, I think there's a good chance we can. I still think that things can work out a certain way where we'd get at least maybe the 7th seed. Even if that happens, we're going to get annihilated. Okay? It's going to be like last year. So but at least you get to be in the playoffs, you know. That's still fun. Anything could happen. But excuse me? Dave Wilhauer sends a $2 super chat. He says, watch out. The AFC South might be a 500 division winner. AFC South. Yeah, they're scaring everybody right now, aren't they? Can we talk about something real quick? You know what else bothers me? Can I bitch about this, Milena? Because it's football related.
As long as it's football.
Okay, as long as it's football related. Okay, she doesn't want me going off on a political rant or something. So, okay. And when I say politics, it doesn't necessarily mean right now. I could go off I could get pissed off about the political situation during the time of Charlemagne. Okay, I could go up on a political situation between Iraq and Iran in 1745. I could talk about the trade of Tula berry wine between the Netherlands and Ecuador. You just never know, okay? You just never know. All right? So look out for that. But football. How long have we heard what the fuck is wrong with this fucking... Ugh! That's twice. It's not me, guys. It's just, I never touch anything. I have no reason to touch the fucking volume. It's this piece of shit software. Ecamm, fuck you. Sorry. All right. I don't know. It's just all of a sudden now I see the green is back in the thing. I'm not even alerted to it. It's stupid. Okay, let's start over again. Actually, I thought I fixed it, and then I started over the second time. So this is the start, and it didn't do it. Now, you know what? I'm just going to keep this right in front of my face. Stupid asses. All right. So for the third time, I want to talk about the AFC East and how you guys know that with Brady, they've always said that the AFC East, he's had it easy, correct? And his opponents were that's why they go to so many Super Bowls. It's easy when you're in the AFC East, right? That's what they've always said. Okay. How come we don't talk about Patrick Mahomes? How come we don't talk about ever since he started in 2018, the AFC West has been a worse division as far as his opponents play they have been worse than the opponents of Tom Brady when he was in the AFC East. Have you guys ever heard this? Not the AFC East thing. Of course you've heard that. That's very common. I'm asking you if you've heard anything from anybody. Have you read it anywhere? Any arguments regarding the AFC West and Patrick Mahomes? I'll wait for your responses. It's not rhetorical. I actually want to know if you've heard that. Colehan Jared says $2 super chat. He says, thank you about the AFC West.
Dave says he can't hear.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, Milena, and you missed that. And the moment you got up and walked away was the time I was muted. Milena, they never got to hear my rant about politics in Indonesia.
No way! That was something else.
They didn't get to hear my rant about politics between the Netherlands and Ecuador and Tullaberry wine. They didn't. That's what I was telling you guys when I was muted. I was telling you about politics of Charlemagne and stuff like that. I was complaining about Iraq-Iran conflicts in the 1700s. And you guys missed all of it.
Wow.
Now, let's get back. The AFC West. Nobody brings up this shit. The shit show that is the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos since 2018. No one ever talks about it. Now, just to be clear, I am not bringing this up to belittle Patrick Mahomes or the Chiefs. I don't agree that matters. In the NFL, you beat who you can't help who your division is. You can't do anything about that, all right? Just like I would say Tom, that had nothing to do with Tom and the Patriots. Just because the NFC or the AFC West sucks ass isn't the Chiefs' fault. Besides, the Chiefs are also beating teams that they play out of the division, and they're beating teams out of the conference, and they're still going to AFC Championship games. They're still going to Super Bowls, so it's irrelevant. I am trying to make the point that if we're going to talk shit about Brady, how come we're not talking shit? How come they're not talking shit about Patrick and the AFC West? Okay? Okay, just a second. I'm trying to find something. Biatches. Okay. Found it. Elvin Courage is a $5 super chat. He says, what about the easy opponents in the AFC South when Peyton was dominating? Well, see, that was next. That was actually I was gonna get to that one next. So, and I made that argument in one of the Brady Hate episodes, I believe. So that's a good one that nobody talks about. So Elvin Courage, you're absolutely correct. I'm glad we're on the same page here. Patrick Mahomes' career, let's see here. So 2018 to 2022. Okay, now I did this a few weeks back, so the win-loss record might be just slightly different, but not enough to make a difference here. The Denver Broncos had a winning percentage of 37%. The LA Chargers had 51%. And the Raiders were 41%. Their win-loss total was 97 and 125, averaging out to 43%. Okay? So they won 43% of their games. For whatever reason, we don't talk about this. Okay? Between 2001 and 2019, the AFC East opponents, Buffalo, 42% win percentage. The Dolphins, 45, and the New York Jets, 45. This averages out to 406 wins, 506 losses for a 44-5 win percentage. AFC West, 43. AFC East, 4-4-5. Faux 5. Versace. I bet you can't even spell Versace. Sure I can. F-O Sace. 4-4-5. Now, playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs. Playoffs. I just hope we can win a game. AFC West division rivals in the playoffs. 2021, the Raiders were in and they lost, of course. 2018, the LA Chargers were in and they went 1-1. For a winning percentage of 333. Okay? They're in between, let's see here. Buffalo, Miami, New York Jets, they and Tom for, okay, so New Orleans as well. If you count them all together, that's 36%. They even Tom's division rivals had a better winning percentage in the playoffs than Patrick Mahomes' opponents in the playoffs. So it just shows you where this is, okay? Now, because Tom's career is so much longer, it's even more difficult for all these teams to have a better winning percentage over a longer period of time. You would think over a longer stretch, it's harder to maintain an average. You know, for like, it's easy to have one good year and your completion percentage as a quarterback is excellent. It's hard to have a high completion percentage when you have 20 years on your resume because that's a lot of attempts, right? So it becomes more difficult. So you would think just from the long period of time and all the seasons combined that Mahomes' opponents in the AFC West would have a more difficult road. They would have a better record. Okay? This is pretty clear that is complete and utter bullshit. So we don't talk about it. We don't mention it. Now, I don't talk about it only because I don't believe that that's a relevant statement. I don't think that Denver and the Raiders and the Chargers and their ineptitude has anything to do with how good the Chiefs are. Okay? You can only play the guys that, in your division, and division games are also very strange. And those guys, other than Denver, they get a win here and there, and something happens, okay? But you still got to beat the other divisions that you play and the NFC that you play, and then you've got to win those playoff games. So I've never bought into the whole, oh, my division is trash, that's why they're so good. Okay, that's nonsense. But just to make the point that if you're going to shit on Brady for the AFC East, then the AFC West is even worse. The AFC West for Mahomes, since he set foot in the league, is worse. Not since he set foot in the league, since he started. Okay, week 1, 2018, the AFC West is worse. When Tom Brady began his career, he was in the AFC East when it had 5 teams. Those 5 teams were the Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, the Patriots, and the Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning's Indianapolis Colts. That was the division back then, because this was the year before the realignment. What did that do? That realignment sent Peyton Manning's Colts out of the AFC East and into the newly formed AFC South, which was made up of a bunch of losers and the Colts. Okay? So Peyton Manning got kicked out of a AFC East division and got set into a division with the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. Okay? So let's go over this again. The Jacksonville Jaguars, who were an expansion team in the mid-90s and plays in Jacksonville, Florida, and good weather. The Houston Texans, who were an expansion team, that was their first year in the league, 2002. And they absolutely sucked. They played in a dome. And the Tennessee Titans, who were an organization that was kind of up and down, back and forth. Just the decade previously, they were the Houston Oilers. They had moved, and they've gone through, areas where they're good and bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, up and down. Okay. So this was a division full of misfits and half-assed teams and teams that really, between the Titans, Jaguars, and the Texans, none of those teams existed 10 years before. None of them. Okay? Because the Titans were the Oilers, the Jaguars didn't exist, and the Texans didn't exist. And that is the division that Peyton Manning got to be in. How convenient is that? Crickets. No one ever talked about that. I don't have the exact numbers of what their records were, and that's something I should probably pull up sometime. There were moments where the Tennessee Titans would have, they'd get in the playoffs and they kind of awkwardly have a win here and there, or do something here and there. And then they'd have where they go through areas where they completely suck. I mean, they sucked bad enough to land Vince Young with the 3rd pick in the 2006 draft, I believe. Yeah. 06. Yeah. The Jaguars were up and down too. Sometimes they were we played them in the divisional game in 2007, and then they would go back to sucking, and then they would be up and down. And then you have the Texans, which Texans were garbage all those years for the longest time. I mean, if you guys remember, they got David Carr nearly decapitated. So Derek Carr's older brother. Surprised he doesn't have advanced forms of CTE right now because of the Houston Texans offensive line. But that's what Peyton was rewarded with. And not only was Peyton's Colts rewarded with that, but the competition committee even changed rules for them. And no one talks about this stuff. Okay? Nobody. It's quite amazing. It's interesting. But that was Elva Courage's super chat there, and since he brought it up, so I was going to kind of cover it, but it's just it's ridiculous. But we don't talk about that either. It's only Tom Brady's division. Oh, but Tom Brady moved to the NFC South, where they all suck, and really? That's interesting. When Tom moved to the NFC South, the Saints still owned that division. They still ran that division, and there was no reason to think that they wouldn't continue to run that division. And they won the division his first year. The Saints were the division winners in 2020. Just interesting. They say, oh, the AFC East suddenly got good and Tom Brady left town. Really? That's weird. Or maybe the Patriots aren't dominating and in the heads of the AFC East teams. You know, if you guys remember, the Jets and the Bills and the Dolphins were obsessed with building a team that beat the Patriots and not building a team that could beat teams consistently week in and week out. You only play the Patriots twice a year, dude. But the Jets dedicated their lives to it. That's exactly what their whole identity was dedicated to, beating the Patriots. And that didn't work. And these teams switched that. They switched it. Now the Dolphins and Jets and Bills, they look at their team from a standpoint of just week to week. Who are we this week? Who are we playing? Instead of worrying about what the Patriots are doing. That has a lot to do with Tom being there and the Patriots running that division. That's what's changed. So. Nefertiti sends a $5 super sticker and says, good job.
Good enough.
Dave Wilhauer says, this is why I love this channel and show and host. I argued this with Peyton Manning worshipers for years. They got a gift division. Exactly. If you're going to blame Tom for something, make sure that you're not your favorites and you're the guys you like aren't doing the same thing or benefiting from the same thing. It's kind of like the teams that talk about Spygate and Deflategate. Okay, before you start talking shit, make sure that your team aren't cheaters either. Okay, make sure that your team is completely clean and they've never done anything wrong. The most cheating organization in the history of the NFL is the Denver Broncos. Okay? And all you hear from Denver fans is how the Patriots are cheaters and Tom Brady's cheaters and stuff. They don't want to talk about all the stuff they've done. The Denver Broncos are guilty of violating the salary cap by paying their high-profile players under the table so John Elway could come back a second year to win a Super Bowl again, and Terrell Davis and some of the other guys. Okay? That is the single biggest violation for a competitive advantage that you could get as an NFL team, is violating the salary cap. Because everybody else has to work it out. Some people, if they go over the cap, they've got to get rid of guys so their team's not as talented. If you can violate the cap and you can keep all of your great players and go over and pay them under the table, then you've got a massive competitive advantage. Okay? Imagine if the Patriots never had to blow up the 2014 team and never had to get rid of any of those guys after 2015. Imagine if the Patriots could have paid Chandler Jones and all the kept everybody that they wanted for all those years. Imagine if they could do that. If they were doing that under the table. What it would have been like. What kind of advantage would we have had? So people want to talk about a football, a deflated football. You want to talk about stealing signals? You mean the signals that any stupid ass fan in the stands can film with their phones? Is that what they were talking about? Okay. Well, but violating the salary cap. No, we don't want to talk about that. No one wants to talk about that. That's not a competitive advantage. Surely not. Anthony Preston, he said, I can't wait to be your neighbor in 10 years. And I tell the kids, get off my lawn, you stinky little bastards. Am I really, is that what this sounds like? Am I having a Clint Eastwood moment? Am I having a get off my lawn moment right now? Is that what this sounds like? Yeah, I know it's late. I know it's a Tuesday night and it's late, but I feel like bitching and complaining. And you guys are still here, so you got to go to bed. I ain't stopping you. But you know you don't want to leave. You know you want to continue to listen to this. You know you do. Because you're as annoyed as I am. Which Super Bowl are you referring to that they stole from you, Ryan? You're a Packers fan, right? I think the Super Bowl they stole was probably the Falcons, from the Falcons. I don't think the salary cap violation was the first year. I think what happened, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just, now that I'm thinking about it here, the violation was because after Terrell Davis had that big run in the playoffs, remember that epic run and a great Super Bowl against the Packers, they had to pay him. And they were trying to figure out a way to pay him and John Elway and Shannon Sharp and other guys that they had on the team. And they wanted to keep that together. So they did some shit under the table. Now, the NFL did punish them years later, and fined them, took a draft pick, and the usual stuff they do for stuff like that. But it was too little, too late. It doesn't make a difference. But I don't know if that was also including the 97 season where they beat the Packers. I think as a Packers fan, you can be okay in the fact that you probably just lost the Super Bowl legitimately, and the Broncos were better that night, that day. I would be happier with that. I would feel better about just knowing that we lost because we weren't as good, or to find out that we lost because their team was stacked because they violated salary cap. That would piss me off. So that would bother me if that was the case. Violating the salary cap is the most egregious thing you could do. The Falcons fans the next year are probably the ones that might have a complaint or might want to complain about something there. So I remember that Packers team in the 90s, and they beat us, of course, in 96 and won the Super Bowl there. I remember after that Super Bowl, watching Brett Favre on the podium and thinking to myself, is anyone going to beat this Packers team for the next few years? I really thought that this is the new dynasty. I was like, this is the new Cowboys. This is the new 49ers. The Packers are going to rule to the end of the decade and beyond. And so I was surprised that, I was surprised they lost to the Denver Broncos, to be honest with you. I didn't expect much of the Denver Broncos in 97. It didn't take them seriously. But Terrell Davis, of course, had that epic run in the playoffs like he did. And that kind of came out of nowhere. But, he was good during the season. I'm just saying, though, that there's always a flash in the pan guy, coming from somewhere. I just didn't take the Broncos that seriously. So I thought the Packers were just going to run over them and be back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And there's no reason to think that they weren't going to do that again and again and again. So I was really surprised. And what we look back on now is that dynasties, they seemed easy. They seemed like they were inevitable, okay? Because what had we seen? When I was a kid, I was aware of the history. Of course, didn't know about it. Wasn't alive to see it, but I was aware of the Packers of the '60s and the Steelers of the '70s. And of course, I watched some of the end of the 49ers. I can't remember the 49ers' first two Super Bowls. They were in '81 and '84. I couldn't be honest. I couldn't remember that. Wouldn't even know. I was probably taking off my shoes and eating them, at that time. So, but I do remember the ends. I do remember the '88 and '89 teams. So it seemed like this was a normal thing. And then the '90s come, and then the Cowboys are dominant. And they win 3 out of 4. So you're thinking, okay, Brett Favre, was winning MVP every single year. They had Reggie White. They had a great coach. Mike Holmgren seemed like, the new Jimmy Johnson, the new Bill Walsh type guy that was just going to. They just seemed to have everything. Everything clicked. Everything was perfect. And I thought they were going to take off with it. And then little did we know the next dynasty was going to be a Patriots team that no one saw coming. So it's so hard, man. It's so difficult. The Chiefs right now, you would think that the Chiefs were built to be a dynasty. They should be. I mean, as far as what you would expect out of the rosters they have, the coaching they have. But even they can't achieve it, and they can't do it because it's too damn difficult. And what the Patriots have done, and Tom Brady, because I'm going to say also Tom Brady singularly because he won a seventh Super Bowl on his own. But what they have done is so improbable and so difficult a concept to understand and to process for people that they have to find some other reason why it's not legit. And they have to find some explanation, something to explain away why this is the case. They just can't fathom that this could happen. And it is insane. It is crazy. It is extraordinary. But that's why we call it Brady derangement syndrome, because it really does drive people mad because they can't think straight. It's like the NFL rig conspiracy people. They can't fathom that their team that they love is just that shitty. They can't understand it. They can't process it. So it has to be something else. There's got to be another reason. And with Tom Brady and the Patriots, nobody's allowed to win that many Super Bowls. Nobody. You can't do that. You just can't do that. So it's got to be scripted. It's got to be the NFL wants Tom Brady to win 7 Super Bowls. It's got to be they're cheating or something, one of those things, or many of those things at the same time that they think. But the concept is insane. There has been a dynasty every single decade in the Super Bowl era. 2 of those dynasties belong to the same 2 men, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And for that, they can't understand this. Dave Wilhauer sends a $5 super chat. He says, the 2049ers fined and lost draft picks for circumventing the salary cap. Carmen Policy and Dwight Clark were fined. They lost draft picks, according to a Washington Post article. Well, you shouldn't have said that it was a Washington Compost article, because now we don't know if it's true or not. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So can't do that shit. Can't do this stuff. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Cool Hand Jared says a $2 super chat. He says, why does no one mention Chuck Noll as a great head coach? That's very interesting, and they don't. Okay? Why does no one mention Terry Bradshaw as a great quarterback? Huh? All the attention goes to the Steel Curtain defense. Okay? I understand giving the defense credit for one Super Bowl being, I understand the 85 Bears, the monsters of Midway, getting the credit over Jim McMahon and his offense. Makes sense. They didn't do anything before, and they had a pretty decent season after that, but it kind of faded away, right? And I understand them giving the Baltimore Ravens, the 2000 Ravens defense credit over Trent Dilfer and his offense. That makes sense. It even makes sense that they give the 2002 Bucks defense over Brad Johnson. Why? Because these quarterbacks didn't really do anything year in and year out, and it was the defense that made it happen. But when you are Terry Bradshaw and you are a quarterback who has won 4 times, you're consistently there. When you have MVPs of your own, meaning most valuable player, you were the best player in football. That's a singular award. Okay? It's not a team award. That is a singular award, meaning you were the best quarterback in the league, the best player in the league. It's not just the defense. Okay? The defense is great. They're wonderful, but it's not just them. And for some reason, that Steelers 70s dynasty, they just ignore Terry Bradshaw and they ignore Chuck Noll. And Chuck Noll often gets left out of it. And it's interesting. You would think at least Chuck would get credit for the Steel Curtain defense, but he doesn't. So they're always picking a different Steelers player and all that. And I'll tell you this much. I saw on Twitter that I think it was Najee Harris posted something for Franco Harris and said he was responsible for the greatest play in NFL history, talking about the Immaculate Reception. Wrong. Okay? First of all, we don't even know if the Immaculate Reception was a reception. We can't see it. Okay? Now, there are a lot of people who say that ball hit the ground. We just don't know. So already it means that we just don't have evidence that he ever actually caught it. It's also an accident. Okay? It's a random occurrence. It's just a stupid random occurrence. It also happened in a playoff game. It wasn't even in a Super Bowl. So its meaning was it's a bit overstated how important that play was. Okay? It certainly cannot beat any plays that have happened in Super Bowls that have changed the outcome of the game. Okay? The Rams-Titans Super Bowl, getting tackled right at the 1. Is the Immaculate Reception a better play than that? Is the Immaculate Reception a better play than Malcolm Butler? Malcolm Butler's play is the greatest play in NFL history. There is no play in the history of the game that had more of an exact swing right off of that one play to win the Super Bowl. You can't beat that. It has nothing to do with Malcolm being a Patriot. It has nothing to do with the fact that because it was the Patriots. If he had done that for the Denver Broncos in 2015, I'd say the same damn thing. Okay? Same shit. So if he was on the Jets and he picked it off like that and won it for the Jets, I would still say Malcolm Butler's interception is the greatest play in NFL history. His play changed a Super Bowl. It went from no ring to ring like that. Just like that in one play, okay? People even say, oh, the David Tyree catch. No, things had to happen after that catch. And it was third down. If he didn't make that catch, they still could have converted. So, no, it wasn't a direct result of the helmet catch. The Giants Super Bowl win was not a exact result. It led to that, but it wasn't a direct result. Just like the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl was not a direct result of Julian Edelman making that crazy catch. It was cool. It was awesome. I love it. But that is not as direct of an effect of winning the Super Bowl as Malcolm Butler's play was. Malcolm Butler's interception completely flipped everything. Just like that. Just wham. There you go. It's done. So. Oh, I know, Dave. I was just joking. I saw an opportunity to take a shot at the Washington Compost. What's going on with my mouse? Stop it. Okay. There we go. What are you guys talking about? Mike Miller says he'll take John Randall over Aaron Donald. Well, of course. Watt over Donald? Of course. Everybody thought the Rams would be a dynasty. Yes. Yeah, we all did. I mean, I thought we were going to get our asses kicked. I remember, man, 2001. I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to watch it, but this is going to be a disaster. So, be honest, okay. Even if you're a Patriots fan back then, go back in your mind and you tell me that you really believed that we're going to beat the Rams, the greatest show on turf. I was like, after Ty Law picked off Kurt Warner, I was thinking, oh shit, we might actually have a chance. That was like, what's going on here? Yeah, Derek Thomas was awesome. Patrick Willis, very underrated. I agree. Bruce Smith, Dick Butkus, Ray Lewis, all great. Greatest safety of all time, Ed Reed. For me, it's not just about interceptions. It's about when a team week in and week out completely alters what they do because of one guy out there, because you can't predict what he's going to do or where he's going to go. And that was Ed Reed. Ed Reed's Hall of Fame highlight reel was full of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning interceptions. Okay? When your highlight reel for your Hall of Fame resume is full of those two guys, that means that you are the shit. Okay? Yeah, Phil. Yeah, Donald's a great player, but he's overrated compared to what he actually is. Because when you say that someone is the greatest defensive player of all time, I've got to have to check you. Okay, the greatest player of all time, the greatest defensive player of all time is Lawrence Taylor, and that's it. That's it. It's end of discussion. I can't believe that anyone ever debates this. All right? It's stupid. Of course, and when it comes to Ed Reed and when it comes to cornerbacks, so Bloody Pleb says, in my opinion, the best cornerback ever is Mel Blount. See, that might be a little my bias coming in. I think the best cornerback of all time is Deion Sanders. And I grew up watching Deion play. And Deion is like Ed Reed. When a team is sitting there game planning around just that one side of the field that you're on, wherever you line up, it's because of that, because of you, that changes everything. Not that they may have not done that with Mel Blount. Okay. So what I'm saying is this is just an opinion thing. Like, it's not something that can be definitively proven. Not like the quarterback thing where Tom's got 7 Super Bowls and every stat you can imagine. That there's no opinion there anymore. But with things like the cornerbacks and the defensive backs at the safeties and stuff, yeah, there's no definitive answer. It's just not so cut and dry. But yeah, you're right about Chuck Noll. He just doesn't get talked about. Now, see, Mike Miller, James Harrison's 100-yard interception return. The reason that can't be the number one is because it wasn't. There was still an entire second half of the Steelers Super Bowl. There was the second half of the Super Bowl left. Also, there were a lot of holding. There was a lot of illegal holding on the return that the refs missed. I mean, if someone wants to talk about that, that's whatever. But again, that's adding things into it. But it has to be the number one play has to be the one play that had the most impact in that one play. And there was an entire second half to play. I would argue that just in that Super Bowl alone, Roethlisberger's throw into the end zone to Santonio Holmes in the corner, that is a greater play than the James Harrison run back, which was just him catching it and then running his ass down and barely making it there. So, I mean, it is a great play, one of the big plays of all time, but I can't give it the number one. So. Yeah, the problem for players at a certain point is that there were certain stats that we didn't keep up with and we don't have a record of, and I really wish we had that, because it could really change some things. Like sacks, for example. They didn't start doing sacks, I think, until 81-ish. So yep, Bloody Pleb's absolutely right about Mel Blount. They did change the rules on him, and it was called the Blount rule. So, Mike, let's go. See, Mike's a cool dude. See, Mike's a cool dude. Not a lot of people who would admit that they were swayed by an argument. Ryan Dyer says, my favorite play for a losing team is the return by Devin Hester. That was epic. My God, I couldn't believe the Colts kicked to Devin Hester. I couldn't believe it. It's like, whoa, to start off the Super Bowl. I think the Colts wanted to show that they didn't fear him. Yeah, that was stupid. I don't know. Do you guys think that being hopped up on cocaine is an advantage? It depends, I guess. I don't know what cocaine does to you, or like how I mean, I know that it makes you like energetic and crazy. I've never used it. I've never had it. So I don't know what it feels like what the process feels like. So I don't know if it could help or hurt. I mean, could it also make you confused and not as accurate with things, or, following the play correctly and listening and understanding? Could it hinder you in that way too? I mean, would cocaine make Lawrence Taylor hit any harder than he normally would, or would it make him more talented on the field? I don't know. I'm actually asking that question. I'm not. It's not rhetorical, so it's just not sure. Now, I know what Coca-Cola will do. This is like fucking spinach for Popeye. Okay? I take this shit and I'm in the zone. Okay? I'm like, boom. I come at you guys with all this pinpoint logic and awesome ranting. Okay. Talking about the Congo and shit like that. Now, it may be eating away my stomach acid and all that. And you may be able to use Coca-Cola as a toilet cleaner. This I've heard. But still. I don't do drugs. I don't even drink alcohol. I have Coca-Cola. Everybody's got something. I don't smoke. I don't, everybody's got something. I drink soda. That's it. Oh, and I like candy too. I eat candy a lot. So. Sugar. Jalen says, I don't think cocaine acts as an enhancement drug. Yeah, that's my gut feeling. Is that I agree. I don't think it would mainly. I don't think it would add anything to LT's performance or viciousness. So. Yeah, all I drink is the ones from Mexico. So that's real sugar. It's the same Coke formula from when I was a kid. So that's why I drink it. I can't even drink the American versions now with that high fructose corn syrup shit. It makes my stomach hurt. So. Where do I rate Payday candy bars? So this is where we're at in the point of the show tonight. I love Payday candy bars. They're really good. I'd say Payday is probably the Aaron Rodgers of candy bars. So probably like number 7 or 8, 9, something like that. I don't know. Something like that. You want the Tom Brady of candy bars? The Tom Brady of candy bars is Snickers. Coolhand Jared says, do you know what my favorite Coca-Cola is? The next one. There's nothing like opening a bottle of Coke, dude. I'm telling you. Man, it gets me every time. I got to this website called Coke Hub, and it's just, these female models with the perfect hand models, and it just shows her opening the soda, and I just watch that all day. I actually like Butterfingers. They're really good too. Actually, it's hard to find a candy bar I don't like. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, well, drugs for rock stars is different though. Okay, so like you're saying, Coke helped a lot of bands in the 70s create great albums. The thing is that when an artist is on that stuff, they write about all kinds of crazy shit, and it's reflected, through their music. But a lot of times when these artists, they become old and shit, and sober, they start writing every song about their children and shit. Like, I don't give a flying fuck about 10 songs about the birth of your daughter. I don't care. I can't identify with that. Okay? I just, I want to, you can, there's no coolness anymore. It's not there anymore. Or 15 songs about your wife. I don't care. I don't give a shit. So maybe drugs for the guys in the 70s is a bit different. But those same guys now, man, their music is trash. Oh, Jalen, you said Jalen says he thinks Ray Lewis would be a better leader of men than LT. I agree. I do think Ray Lewis is a better leader. Absolutely. Won't argue with that. Would I put Von Miller's strip sack on my list? Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yep. It's just Super Bowl plays have to really take precedence because of their impact and their meaning. And that's what I see as greatest plays. Like some people love the Music City Miracle, and that was awesome too, and that's really cool. But what did it amount to? So if they had done that in the Super Bowl, I would be saying, oh, okay, yeah. So like even Malcolm Butler's interception had some things after that sequence of events that needed to happen. Okay, so Tom had to get out of his own end zone, and he did that by drawing them off sides. Had they been forced to run a play and there's a safety, the Seahawks get 2 points, and now they only need a field goal to win. They would have got the ball back, and we saw how quickly they got into field goal range that whole game. We saw, I mean, at the end of the first half, Gronk scores a touchdown, and then with like a minute left, they go back, and Chris Matthews scores a touchdown just like that. Then at the end of the game, they go down the field with Marshawn Lynch, and then throwing it to Lynch, and then they throw it to Javon Curse. So there's a good chance that they probably do get into field goal range and win it. So if a safety occurred. So Tom had to make that happen also. But that's the shortest shortest amount of time and shortest amount of things that needed to happen in order to get the victory was Malcolm Butler's pick. But had the Music City Miracle happened in the Super Bowl, that was a walk-off win. That was straight up, you know? So there was no more game after that. It was over. So. I like this. The Gord King says, the trick is to blend the two. Write about your daughter being born, but then write about her taming Godzilla and rampaging through Tokyo. That's a good balance, actually. But unfortunately today, now it's 15 songs about their daughter being born. And there is no rampaging, there is no Tokyo, and there is no Godzilla. You know what? I've never noticed anybody commenting this, but when I posted the Ray Lewis short the other day, it said linebacker and knife enthusiast. Did any of you guys pick up on that at all? Just wondering. Wait. Godzilla doesn't exist? Shit. Hey. So I posted a tweet. Tweet. Posted a tweet that said NFL is rigged was trending. So I wrote, now that anybody who's posting NFL rigged in a serious manner, we also know who believes that the earth is flat. And a gentleman, I don't know who he is. He follows us on Twitter, and I follow him. Seems like a cool, funny dude. But he posted a meme, and I don't know if he's serious or not. But it seemed serious because it seemed like some arguments I've heard about flat Earth. But it showed the you know what? I'll just show it to you. This is beyond weird. So. It's so strange. Ah. So I posted, if gravity is not strong enough to stop a small stream from flowing to its lowest point, then what is stopping the oceans north of the equator from emptying into oceans south of the equator? This is what the Earth would look like if we lived on a globe. Gravity is pseudoscience, a theory that can't be proven. I believe he was serious. Yeah. Yeah, because he even commented, if the Earth was a ball, all the water in the oceans would be a pool at the bottom. Now, to his credit, I wrote, if the Earth, I didn't know else to respond. How are you supposed to respond to this? This is like trying to respond to Pat Truthner about football and how it works. So I wrote, if the Earth was flat, all the cats on Earth would have knocked all of our shit off by now. And he wrote back, damn, when you put it like that, I think you converted me. Now, I noticed that this flat Earth thing is taken is taken off. It's got a lot of attention lately, and it seems to get some traction. And in fact, one of you guys out there might think this or might possibly believe in it. I don't know. But I'm fascinated by it. That people, it's got such a following. I'm just trying to figure out what would be the point of it. That's all I'm wondering. Like, wow, it's just strange. So I also want to know, well, you know what, never mind. The Gourd King has a great comment here. He says, I'd say his meme carries a lot of weight, but I can't if there's no gravity. All right, guys. With that, I'm going to end the night. I think this is the longest I've been on in a long time. 3 hours. Holy crap, it's probably like 12:22 and on the East Coast for a lot of you guys. You guys are awesome. Yeah, Gourd King, you want access to my Twitter account? Biden, even going there, it's like trying to explain, like the other night when I had that debate with Pat Truthner, and I was trying to take it seriously and be, argue the points, but really at some point I was just like, this is ridiculous. Okay. And this is just beyond absurd. And even trying to, it just, there's a point where you're just like, okay, what is going on here? Gourd King is a hilarious dude. Follow him on Twitter. Easy to find. He's the only person called the Gourd King because there is only one Gourd King. All right. So follow Gourd King on Twitter and YouTube. Follow VonAllen Sports on Twitter. I'm always talking shit there or saying something all week long. So whatever inane thought that runs through my head, I'll probably end up tweeting it. So, okay. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here tonight. And I will see you Friday. Okay. Don't forget Friday. Friday, we're rolling the dice. Friday, for you guys who are left in the tournament, make sure you're there because you don't want to leave it up to the dice. You may get a crappy quarterback that you don't want. So make sure you're there to pick it. And I'll see you guys Friday. And yeah, have a fantastic, a wonderful, fantastic week. And if for some reason you can't be on or I don't see you for a while, have a very, very Merry Christmas. Okay? Thank you guys so much. VonAllen Sports, let's go.
This is Patriots linebacker, Super Bowl 49 champ, Darius Fleming, and you're watching VonAllen Sports. Real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now. Join the empire. VonAllen Sports, let's go!